draw this picture, I didn't actually know how to draw Beziers with my 3D printer yet. So instead, I actually started drawing circles in some of my early experiments. This is one of my very first drawings where I was trying to place down circles randomly. I think it actually might go this way. And it didn't work very well. I put down more circles. This one actually looks a little bit better on camera, but not quite so much in person. I wasn't quite getting the effect I wanted. And this one I think looks the best on camera, but again in person the ink's drawing over itself too much, and so it's actually bleeding through the paper and the paper's starting to get warped. So I liked this idea, but I didn't exactly know how to get it to work. After a while I found this portrait and I really wanted to do it on my 3D printer plotter. Her hair in particular, all the braids, really reminded me of the circles, and I thought it would look really good if I could figure out how to do it. I realized that instead of doing it automatically, I could try a different approach. For this project, I built this tool here that lets me draw with circles. The idea is you can click the mouse, and then move it, and it will draw a candidate circle in red. When you're happy with it, you click again, and then when you move the mouse, it starts drawing another circle. The key thing is that the new circle is always attached to the previous one. By attaching it to the previous one, we could actually draw one continuous line, one continuous pen stroke. That means we don't have to draw each circle independently. One of the things I learned very early on using my 3D printer to draw was that the z-axis is very slow. And so trying to minimize the up and down, the lifting of the pen, is actually ideal. There's also something about the aesthetic of all these continuous circles that's really interesting. So the idea is you can go around, draw all these circles, they can overlap, you can put them as large or as small as you want to try and create the image. Of course, just drawing the image this way is nearly impossible. So behind the scenes I can actually place the image. This isn't the raw image, this has actually been processed to highlight the edges. The idea here is that the circles themselves and the black lines that we're creating, they can be placed on the edges or on the gradients where we can fill in shading. So by placing a few concentric circles or different edges of different circles, we actually can build up shading. Here I am partway through drawing the image using these circles. You can see I've started to flesh out kind of the overall shape of the drawing. Her face has been outlined in, her arm, some of her hair. The idea is we can go in, and so this is connected to the previous circle, and I'm happy with it. I can go and click and move on to the next one. Like for her hair, all these little details where her braids are, we can go through and click and create tiny little braids using different circles. Or if we want to, we can also create some effective shading. So for instance, if we want to try and color in down here by her nose, we have to get down there first, so we can create a circle off here in her hair. Then we can move down. I can either draw like right on the edge where her nose is, or I can actually move in or out. And the idea is that by building up a few lines that are not exactly on the edge, but close to the edge, we can actually start to build up the shading. We just continue to do this over and over. So it actually went pretty fast using this tool. Partway through drawing the image, I actually switched from drawing using the edges to actually drawing with the real image. Here's the black channel of the original image. And the idea, again, is that we want to try and mimic what was going on. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to see, so we can actually toggle the image back on and off to see if we're getting the effect we want. And here we can see like her cheek, for instance, actually has a lot of darkness that didn't show up in the edge image. So we can actually go in and start to move over, start to build up, not circles necessarily on the edge of her jaw, but we can actually start to put them into her cheek so that when they get drawn, we actually kind of create this idea of shading. Now that we have our drawing done in circles, we need to turn those circles into G-code. To do this, we actually traverse the circles to try and create a single path. Here I've shown it using just 5 circles. The first circle is actually hidden, it's actually 0 size. So the idea is we go around clockwise all the time. So we go all the way around this circle till we meet and draw that path. Then here we touch the circle. So instead of continuing the original large circle, we move to the next one. We draw this green path, and we draw this purple one, and then this pink one. And now we're at the end, so we now actually go start backtracking around the other half of the circle. And this closes in the circle that we drew previously all the way back to the original. So here we're only doing with a few circles. We can actually scale this up and draw, say, the first 25 circles. It's the same thing. We draw part of the circle, an arc, then we draw another arc, another arc, another arc, all the way around till we get to the end, and then we traverse all the way back and draw these. So we can do this for the whole image. Here we see all the different parts of all the different circles that we're going to draw. Of course, we're not going to draw them in all these different colors. We're going to use just the black pen. Here's the same code that actually draws it in black. So using all of these points, basically we traverse the circle and we approximate it with a bunch of lines. We then turn that into G-code. That G-code gets exported and then sent to the printer.